Hello, my name's Yazzie. I'm from Tuba City, and we're gonna paint, I guess, right?
Now, how did you get into painting?
Legos. I started from Lego tops, from that, and then I started doing things from rubber bands, like with the loom, and you make bracelets with that. I used to sell those for like 50 cents each. And after that, I started doing some pipe cleaners with that, and I made like flower rings and everything like that. Made different stuff with that. And I used to sell those for 50 cents also. But then after I started going to the shows, I started wanting to get more and more stuff that I really wanted. And so my mom got me some canvases and all of that. And she told me just to do like some splashing and put the hoe gun. And after that, I guess carried on from there and started doing hoe guns for a long time. Started doing those, a little bit rug patterns. Then I started doing some abstract art. So yeah.
Can you fix your mic? So, And what was your first art show?
My first art show, I believe it was Pueblo Grande Museum in Phoenix. Yeah. Before those, I used to go to the powwows and all of those and used to sell my art, but then I guess I started getting better and better. And after that, I started getting into museums, art shows, and all of that stuff. And usually I'll use a color wheel that I usually have. Nate Begay, he's also an artist. He also gave me one of these, and it really has helped me a lot with using a color wheel and making my art colorful and standing out. So usually I'll pick like blue-green, and I'll go to like an orange because the opposite color, or you can go into a triangle.
And who influenced you to do art? Like which artists?
Usually my mom, because she started from beading, she started doing that, and she also started to paint a little bit, and then that, I guess, pushed me too. That's why I started doing art also, and started to make more stuff and more. So yeah.
Can you talk about some of your pieces over here?
Some of my pieces. I usually did these three right here. When I would sometimes go back to my hometown on the res. My Che lives in Cameron, and so he taught me how to do playing cards and all, like solitaire, crazy eight, blackjack, and everything like that. And so I did cards to kind of represent him, and yeah. And I like to do a lot of abstract. And as you see, I was doing with the palette knife, doing a lot of that. It was because of Elizabeth Whitethorn. She usually, when we went to art shows, Art of the People and all of that, she used a lot of palette knife, and so that really encouraged me, inspired me. And so that's why I like to do them a lot now, as much. And I like to use that spray bottle to get this kind of effect. I'm not sure if you can see those raindrops there. And also right here too, in this painting, you see the raindrops there. And I like to use it as rain. Also like to kind of represent caves, like in the Grand Canyon, like that kind of stuff. And this one too, I usually just grab some paint on there, scribbled it with my hands, and I sprayed water on it, mix it around, everything like that. So it kind of represents kind of like a canyon behind. Yeah.
And can you talk about your relationships to Art of the People?
From Art of the People, like artists. I know a couple artists, Nate Begay, Bahi Whitethorn, Elizabeth, Randall, Keith, Smith. They all helped me. Yeah. Okay.
And can you speak about your art process?
My art process, I don't really think of a story much or anything like that. I just kind of go with the flow and everything like that. So yeah. Usually I'll just probably spray some of this on a palette, put some paint on there, and I'll just spray it on there. Kind of gives that weird effect, kind of. Right. Yeah. And then, so yeah.
Can you just talk about a little bit more about what inspires you to do art?
What inspires me to do art is I don't really know, kind of. I like to use models sometimes, and I'm really starting to get into how to do people and the formation. As you probably see down there, as a hoop dancer, right there on the other side. And then this one, right by the, sitting by the fire. So I'm really starting to get into all that stuff. And also the one on top over there with the bow, like he's hunting. So that's what I'm kind of getting really into, to get better and better. And hopefully I could probably get better with the people I do also, so I can improve more and more.
We got someone asking about if you can talk a little bit about how you've grown up, urban life versus the reservation life.
I grew up on the res when I was little. I used to live with my grandma a little bit, and then with other family. And then my mom wanted to get into college, and so we moved down there to Phoenix because she wanted college, and we moved in with our grandmas over there. So I didn't really live on much, but we went back and forth a lot. And that's, yeah.
And how is that reflective in your work?
I mostly seen art scenes, kind of, from other artists and everything like that, yeah.
Do you ever start with a sketch or an idea in your head, or do you just figure it out as you go?
Sometimes I do both. Sometimes I'll think a long time just to think of something, or I'll like go on Instagram or something like that, and I'll try to find models or something like that, because I'm trying to really get into people and stance and everything like that. Sometimes I'll sketch, or sometimes I'll sketch on a canvas, or when like a canvas is already wrapped and with the plastic, I'll see how it looks like with a marker. So that's what I would usually do. Or sometimes I would paint first, then I'll draw it on here first. Second, when I'm done painting the canvas.
We got another question. Do you ever use a brush?
A brush, I will sometimes when I'm probably doing like a blanket, the hat, or feathers that I usually do, or the people I do. I would use that, but mostly during the background, I would use a palette. If it's just really nice and plain, it'll probably just be like that, just real nice and just like that. And I'll put something with a palette knife.
And is your work for sale online?
Yeah, I have Instagram. There is Ashkiyaja. It's ASHKIIYAZHII. If you look that up on Instagram. And also in the bio, I believe, there's a Redbubble that I have all my paintings for sale there. So yeah.
And have you ever taught younger students on blending and any of the other techniques you've had?
What was it?
Have you taught any younger artists?
No, not really, because there's not really youth artists. I don't really see as much. And if there's probably people, like artist people, like people come with their kids, and we all, gather and do paintings, collaborations, then yeah, I'll show them. And that's the only really time I see kids painting during those times.
Someone asked, how long will it take for that to dry?
For it to dry, probably an hour. It really, I don't really know because I just kind of move a little bit fast, I think. So yeah.
And have you ever tried other media?
Media. I tried oil. That was really hard for me. It wasn't drying quick enough because usually I use acrylic and that dries pretty quick. Oil was really hard for me. I never tried watercolor. I tried it once and it didn't really turn out well. But mostly I just use acrylic, heavy acrylic, and sometimes I'll use sand.
And do you want to talk a little bit about your work over here?
Yeah. Mostly I like to do a lot of rain, the palette knives. I used to do a lot of sun. I'm not sure if you can probably see the eye and the mouth, but I used to do a lot of those. Just like this. Before I started doing all the people, I used to do a lot of these, like the 4 Sacred Mountain colors, blue, yellow, black, and white. I used to do a lot of those just to kind of represent the sun and the moon in a way. And I used to do a lot of hogans just like this, with the corn as a smoke, and a lot of thunder and the navel stars as a cross. And I used to do a lot of these back then. And the 4 sacred colors, the first one was black, which was when the stars were out, that was the only thing. The second one was yellow, when the insects and bugs came. Then the blue one was when the fish and the ocean water came. And then the white one, which is the glittering world, which is now, which us people came to earth. So those are the process of the 4 sacred mountains. And that one, I like to use sometimes just a plain background, and I'll use a stripe just like those. And that one was really different because I kind of blended in with the face. And that was really different for me. And also this one was my first one of getting of an angle, the face like that. And with a hat also. Because I just used to do a lot of side point of view. I would do a lot of that, but that was my first one. And then after that, I started doing a lot of them. And so, yeah.
And can you talk about your experiences with other artists?
Other artists, a lot of them have different things they want to do and everything like that. But it's really fun because you get to really talk and know about their style, their art, why they kind of do that and all of that. So it's kind of it's really fun to know all the artists because you get to really know them and learn their techniques and what they can also do, I guess.
And where do you draw inspiration for your artwork?
My inspiration, like I said, a lot of Elizabeth. Sometimes I would try to use models. Sometimes I'll use models. I'll try to sketch it out and perfect it first, and then I'll try to draw it on canvas. That's where I kind of get from a lot of people, a lot of what I do now, a lot of people. So just like the bow, the hoop dancer, the one with a hat, and the one that's one with the sitting by the fire. That's really a lot that I try to get.
What is it about Elizabeth Whitethorn Benally's work that inspires you?
It's because she likes to use a lot of texture, sand. She really does that, and when I would collaborate, we all do collaboration, art of the people. She used a lot of palette, and she says she uses a lot of palette. And I never really used palette back then because I just used to use these brushes. There's different types, different sizes. I just used to use those, and I just kind of got bored of it because all the blending, I couldn't get as much as I wanted. And so I started using the palette knives, and then that's when I started going on from there, from my art, to use a lot.
And can you explain what you're doing right now?
I'm just kind of drawing out someone right now, scraping a little paint with a palette knife. This is how I usually do it. My people are not really so fancy, I guess. Not so realistic or anything, but I guess this is my kind of style.
And how do you know when you're finished with the painting?
When I'm finished with the painting, usually when it's dry, or I would look at it again just to see what I need to add or what I don't like about it. Or just when it dries, look at it, just mostly just from looking at it.
Are there other artists in your family, such as potters or weavers?
I have my grandma. Her name is Louisa Lee, I believe, and she went to art school. I'm not sure what was that art school called. I don't remember, but she does a lot of. She used to be an art teacher. She did go to school for art, and she does a lot of people, a lot of drawing, sketching, and all of that. That's the only one I know so far. Oh, and I'm not sure if you probably know him. His name is Carlos Chi. He also does painting. He does people also, but more of an abstract way, kind of. So I think, and my mom. Those are the only artists I really know so far. Yeah.
And what are your favorite subjects to paint?
I like to usually paint Yetis, but I only do that during the winter just to keep it more traditional and sacred. But for now, I'm just doing people. But during the winter, I would like to mix it up a bit between the Yetis and people, being all together and everything like that.
And someone made a comment. They said that you look very self-confident as you paint.
Usually I'm not really, because I'm nervous about what I think, and just in case I might make a mistake, just by outlining a face or something like that. I don't think I usually look confident as usual, but thank you.
Is there any advice you would give anyone regarding painting?
Not really good with advices with paint. Just be confident.
And can you talk about the colors you've used in this piece?
Which one?
The colors in that piece?
That one I use a lot of, I kind of try to use a lot of colors from like kind of sand from the res, kind of caves. That's what I try to usually do because that's, a lot of them are from there.
And someone asked, is your artwork one of a kind?
Probably of the older pieces when I first began. I try not to do too much of a same position or same. I mean, I like to do a lot of these, but just probably not the same position and everything like that. I try to make it a lot different. Yeah.
right, well, we only got a couple minutes left. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I don't know what to really say. I really don't know. It's my first time, so I'm a bit nervous.
Alrighty, well, if you want to thank the viewers for watching,
Yeah.
we can wrap up here.